actress and political activist Rosanna Arquette derided unspecified politicians as corrupt misogynistic pigs and enraged social media screed, while demanding they keep their filthy evil hand off our vaginas. Women will vote all you corrupt misogynistic pigs out of office. Keep your filthy evil hands off our vaginas. We outnumber you, you will not win, Rosanna Arquette fumed. In another weekend rant, Arquette trailed against Senator Ted Cruz, RTX, declaring the Russia investigation is not over for corrupt liars like him. Oh, it's not over till it's over. You are all corrupt liars. How can you sleep at night when you are selling our democracy down the toilet? You will be voted out. The rule of law is the rule of law. Women will vote all misogynistic cruel fascist men out, once and for all, the Pulp Fiction star said. Arquette's Twitter feed features left-wing themes referencing white supremacy capitalism, disparagement of old conservative racist white men, and support of the Black Lives Matter and Me Too campaigns. Women will vote you out appears to be an apolitical theme of hers, aimed at Republican lawmakers. China responded to last week's Trump administration tariff hike by saying it will raise the tariffs on $60 billion of goods imported from the U.S. to 25% on June 1. The tariffs, which falls mostly on U.S. agricultural goods, are currently set at 10%. China has responded to U.S. tariffs, which cover around $250 billion of goods made in China, with retaliatory tariffs several times in the past. But China imports only around $100 billion of goods from the U.S., compared with over $530 billion it exports to the U.S., limiting its ability to retaliate. President Donald Trump on Friday instructed U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer to begin the process of readying tariffs on the $300 billion or so of Chinese goods not yet subject to tariffs. China's retaliatory tariff hike was announced Monday by its foreign ministry. U.S. stock futures moved sharply lower following China's announcement. President Donald Trump defended his decision to level tariffs on China, warning them on Monday to come back to the negotiating table. I say openly to President Xi and all of my many friends in China that China will be hurt very badly if you don't make a deal because companies will be forced to leave China for other countries, Trump wrote on Twitter. Too expensive to buy in China. Trump amended the proposed deal with China fell short after the country's leaders reneged on the necessary framework. You had a great deal, almost completed, and you backed out. Trump wrote. Trump argued that more American companies would shift away from doing business with China as a result of the tariffs. Many tariffed companies will be leaving China for Vietnam and other such countries in Asia, he wrote. That's why China wants to make a deal so badly. Trump also defended his tariffs, arguing that American consumers would not suffer as a result. There, is no reason for the U.S. consumer to pay the tariffs, which take effect on China today, he wrote. This has been proven recently when only 4 points were paid by the U.S., 21 points by China because China subsidizes product to such a large degree. He said that the best idea for Americans was to buy products from the United States instead of China. That's zero tariffs, he said. Trump also celebrated the first quarter 3.2% GDP, claiming that the tariffs on China actually helped the growth of the economy. The unexpectedly good first quarter 3.2% GDP was greatly helped by tariffs from China, he wrote. Some people just don't get it. Facebook has shut down 23 major populist Italian pages with 2.5 million followers just 2 weeks before the European elections. According to Italian media, the majority of the pages supported the populist parties La Lega, the League, and the Five Star Movement, M5S, who currently govern Italy in a temporary coalition. Facebook has justified its dramatic move by claiming that the sites shared fake news, so-called hate speech, and divisive content regarding immigrants, vaccines, and Jewish people. Facebook used information from a report produced by a left progressive NGO called Avaz, which deals with human rights and environmental campaigns. We thank Avaz for sharing its research so we could investigate, said a Facebook spokesperson. We are committed to protecting the integrity of the EU elections and around the world. We have removed a series of false and duplicate accounts that violated our policies on the subject of authenticity, as well as several pages for violation of the policy on changing the name. We have also taken action against some pages that have repeatedly spread misinformation. We will take further measures if we find other violations, the spokesperson warned. In its report, which was presented to Facebook on May 3, Avaz said it had identified 14 Italian networks on Facebook comprising 104 pages and 6 groups, with a total reach of 18.2 million followers. This week, Facebook took punitive action against 23 pages in these networks, with a total of 2.46 million followers and 2.44 million interactions over the last 3 months. Facebook has also reportedly weakened pages that spread content with allegedly false news, presumably making them less visible to Facebook users. The technical motivation for the closing of the pages is linked to name changes. It is claimed they initially suggested themes that did not seem to allude to political parties or movements, but later changed the theme. Among the closed pages are We Want the 5-Star Movement in Government, which had 129,000 followers and almost 700,000 interactions in 3 months, Beppe Grillo for President, Lega Salvini Sulmona, which had 307,000 followers, Lega Salvini Premier Santa Teresa of Riva, and We Are 5 Stars. The most active page in support of the Lega party was among those closed, just as polls are showing that the Lega is currently the party with the most support among Italians for the upcoming elections. Facebook's efforts in Italy to influence the European elections are just the tip of the iceberg, Italian media noted. According to the Italian daily La Repubblica, on May 2 Facebook opened a war room in Dublin devoted full-time to the European electoral campaign, with 40 teams of engineers, scientists, researchers, threat specialists, and experts for each country. There are 500 people working on the elections, with the assistance of 21 supposed fact-checkers, operating in 14 different languages. Representative Rashid al-Dimi falsely claimed that Palestinians provided a safe haven for Jews fleeing the Holocaust, ignoring both the collaboration of Palestinian leaders with Hitler and Palestinian opposition to Jewish immigration. Philip Klein of the Washington Examiner, who flagged Tlaib's flagrant distortion of historical fact, noted that she made her comments on a podcast called Skullduggery in an episode titled From Rashida with Love. Tlaib's comments are at 28 hours 11 minutes in the podcast, offered in defense of her view that Israel should be abolished in a one-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. In the interview, Tlaib said, "There's always kind of a calming feeling I tell folks when I think of the Holocaust," meaning that she felt a sense of moral reassurance because of the fact, that Palestinians to create a safe haven for Jews, post the Holocaust, post the tragedy and the horrific persecution of Jews across the world at that time. In fact, Palestinian leaders, such as former Grand Mufti of Jerusalem Hajj Muhammad Amin al-Husseini, collaborated openly with Hitler and the Nazis. As the Jewish Virtual Library notes, original links. During World War II, the Mufti was involved in the mobilization of support for Germany among Muslims. In November 1941, the Mufti met with Hitler. Although he continued to be involved in politics, al-Husseini's influence gradually declined after the defeat of the Arab armies in 1948. Many Palestinian Arabs vigorously, and violently, opposed Jewish immigration into Palestine, both before and during the Second World War, when it was clear that Jews faced persecution, and worse, in Europe. Moreover, according to historian Benny Morris, Palestinian Arab leadership actually rejected a one-state solution offered by the British prior to the Second World War because the British insisted that they accept 75,000 new Jewish immigrants. They wanted a full stop to Jewish immigration. Though there are several dozen Muslims who are recognized as having helped save Jews, these heroic acts occurred in other countries. After the Second World War, Palestinian Arabs continued to oppose Jewish immigration, and Palestinian Arab forces attacked the nascent state of Israel, joining armies from surrounding Arab countries in an effort to quash the Jewish state. Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas wrote his PhD thesis denying aspects of the Holocaust, and delivered a speech in 2018 in which he appeared to defend Nazi Germany's decision to murder Jews.